The accusation took less than 10 seconds, but it destroyed my marriage in seconds. My wife's sister pointed at me and said, "He's the father of my baby." My wife didn't ask questions. She didn't let me explain. She packed her bags that same night. And when I finally uncovered the truth, it was already too late. Before you judge anyone, before you walk away from someone you love, listen to this story until the end, because sometimes the real villain hides behind tears. My name is Ethan Cole, and until that day I believed I had the kind of life people envied: a stable job, a quiet home, and a wife I loved more than my own breath. Laura wasn't just my wife, she was my best friend. We'd been married for 6 years. We argued sometimes, sure, but we never went to bed angry. We trusted each other, or at least I thought we did. Her younger sister, Megan, moved in with us 8 months earlier. "She just needs a little time," Laura had said. "She's going through a rough phase." Megan was 23, quiet, fragile looking, always wearing oversized sweaters, always avoiding eye contact. She cried easily and apologized too much. I felt sorry for her, nothing more. I treated her like family, like a sister, and that was my biggest mistake. It was a Sunday evening. Laura had cooked dinner. Megan barely touched her food. She sat stiffly, hands folded over her stomach, eyes darting nervously between me and Laura. Finally, she stood up. "I need to say something," she whispered. Laura looked concerned. "What is it, Meg?" Megan's hand started shaking. "I'm pregnant." The room went silent. Laura gasped and rushed to her side. "Oh my God, why didn't you tell me sooner?" Megan didn't answer. Instead, she turned slowly and looked straight at me. Then she said the words that shattered everything. "Ethan is the father." I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because my brain refused to accept it. "What?" I said. "That's not even—" Laura turned to me. Her face wasn't confused, it was pale. Stunned, "Megan, what are you saying?" she asked. Tears streamed down Megan's face.
"He took advantage of me," she sobbed.
I was drunk. I didn't know what I was doing. I stood up so fast my chair fell backward. "That's a lie," I shouted. "I would never touch her, Laura, you know me." But Laura wasn't looking at me anymore. She was staring at her sister, at the tears, at the shaking hands, at the innocent act, and something inside her broke. Laura didn't scream. She didn't slap me. She just said quietly, "Is this true?" That question hurt more than the accusation itself. "No," I said. "I swear on everything I love, no." Megan sobbed harder. "Why would I lie?" She cried, "I'm pregnant." "I didn't ask for this." Laura covered her mouth, trembling. Then she looked at me again. And in her eyes, I saw doubt. Not certainty, not trust. Doubt. Laura packed a small suitcase. I followed her through the house, begging, "Please, listen to me. Please, you know who I am. I love you." She wouldn't look at me. "I need space," she said coldly. "I can't even look at you right now." "Megan is lying," I whispered. Laura stopped at the door. "She's pregnant," she replied. "And you were the only man in this house." Then she walked out. And just like that, 6 years of marriage collapsed. The house felt dead. Megan stayed. She avoided me completely, locked her door, cried loudly at night, played the role perfectly. And me, I lost weight. I stopped sleeping. I replayed every moment in my head, searching for something, anything that could explain how my life had turned into a nightmare. Laura blocked my calls. Her last message said, "If you're guilty, don't ever contact me again." I stared at my phone until the screen went dark. 2 weeks later, something strange happened. I came home early from work and heard Megan talking on the phone in the kitchen. Laughing, not crying, not shaking. Laughing, I stopped in the hallway. She said softly, "I told you it would work." She believed me. My heart stopped. I leaned closer, my pulse roaring in my ears. "And once the baby comes," she continued, "I'll get the house, or at least enough money to start over." I felt sick. She wasn't broken. She wasn't scared. She was planning. I didn't confront Megan that day, not yet. If she was capable of lying about something this big, then she was capable of destroying me completely if I made the wrong move. I stayed silent, and I started watching. That night I barely slept. Her laughter echoed in my head. She believed me. Those words haunted me. The next morning, Megan came down for breakfast like nothing had happened. She avoided my eyes, rubbing her stomach gently, playing the role of the fragile, terrified sister. "I'll be staying with Mom soon," she said softly. "Laura doesn't want me alone right now." That stung. Even after everything, Laura still trusted her. I checked our home security system. We'd installed cameras years ago after a break-in scare. They faced the front door, the backyard, and the hallway. I scrolled through weeks of footage. Nothing inappropriate, nothing even suspicious. No late nights. No secret meetings, only distance. I saved the files, then I checked our shared phone plan. Megan had been texting someone constantly. A contact saved as Ryan, work. But Megan didn't have a job. I copied the number. I called the number from a burner phone. A man answered. Hello? I lowered my voice. Is this Ryan? There was a pause. Yeah, who's this? I hung up. My hands were shaking. That night, I did something I never imagined I'd do. I followed Megan. She said she was going to a doctor's appointment. Instead, she met Ryan at a cafe. I sat in my car across the street and watched through the window. They laughed. They touched hands. They kissed, and then Ryan placed his hand on her stomach. I felt dizzy. I recorded everything from my phone, video, audio, timestamps. As they talked, Megan leaned forward. She still believes it was him, Megan said casually. She's furious with Ethan. Ryan frowned. That's messed up. Megan rolled her eyes. I didn't ask him to sleep with me. He barely looks at me. Ryan froze. Wait, you told me he forced you. She laughed again. I needed something dramatic. Otherwise, Laura would have questioned it. Ryan stood abruptly. You said the baby might be his. I said might, she snapped. But you know it's yours. My heart pounded. The truth was spilling out, and Megan didn't even realize it. Ryan lowered his voice. Why frame your sister's husband? Megan's face hardened. She had everything, she said bitterly. Perfect marriage house. Stability while I was drowning. So you destroy her life? Ryan asked. I didn't destroy it, she snapped. He did. By existing. I felt my stomach turn. I waited until they left, then sent the recording to my laptop. Then I went further. I contacted Megan's old landlord. She'd been evicted months earlier, for unpaid rent. She'd asked Laura for money. Laura had refused, gently but firmly. That rejection planted the seed. I consulted a lawyer. He shook his head as I explained everything. Get proof, he said, hard proof. I knew what that meant, a DNA test. I hired a private investigator. Within 2 weeks, he delivered results. Ryan was the biological father, not me. I sent Laura a message with one sentence. I can prove I'm innocent, no reply. I sent another message, this time with a screenshot of Megan kissing Ryan. She blocked me. She didn't want proof. She wanted pain to stop. Megan announced she was moving out. I can't stay where I feel uncomfortable, she said sweetly. Uncomfortable, in the house she'd destroyed. Before leaving, she looked at me with a small smile. You should have stayed quiet, she whispered. Now you'll lose her forever. That's when I knew she wasn't just lying. She was enjoying it. The truth was in my hands. But exposing it would shatter everything. And I still had no idea how far Megan was willing to go to protect her lie. For days after Megan moved out, the house felt like a crime scene after the criminal fled. Silent, heavy, haunted, but I wasn't done. I had proof now. Recordings, messages, DNA results. Yet none of it mattered if Laura refused to hear me. The truth doesn't save you unless someone is willing to listen. And Laura wasn't. She had moved back in with her parents. Her mother had always been protective of Megan. Too protective. I knew if I went there unannounced, I'd be thrown out before saying a word. So I waited. Then fate intervened. Laura's father suffered a mild heart scare. Nothing life-threatening, but serious enough to bring the entire family together at the hospital, including me. I stood outside the waiting room, hands sweating, heart pounding. Megan was there too, sitting beside Laura, holding her hand, playing the victim perfectly. Laura saw me here and immediately looked away. Megan leaned in and whispered something to her. Laura's shoulders stiffened. I knew this was my only chance. Laura, I said softly. Please, 5 minutes. Her mother stood up. You have some nerve showing up here. Dad, I said to her father, who was pale but alert. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't important. Megan spoke quickly. He's trying to manipulate everyone again. I took a deep breath. No, I said. I'm here to tell the truth, Laura snapped. I don't want to hear it. Then listen to her, I said calmly, and looked directly at Megan. For the first time, she looked nervous. I pulled out my phone. Before you walk away, I said, just listen. If I'm lying, I'll leave forever. Laura hesitated. Her father nodded slowly. Let him speak. I pressed play. Megan's voice filled the room. I told you it would work. She believed me. You know the baby is yours. I needed something dramatic. The color drained from Laura's face. Megan jumped up. That's fake. He edited that. I pressed play again, my second recording.
Why frame your sister's husband? She had everything.
I had nothing. The room went silent. Laura covered her mouth. Her mother looked at Megan in disbelief. I didn't stop. I placed an envelope on the table. DNA results, I said. Ryan is the father. Megan screamed, You went behind my back? Her father stood up, shaking. Is this true? Megan looked around desperately. No tears now, no shaking hands. Just rage, you don't understand, she shouted. She deserved to lose something for once. Laura collapsed into a chair. You destroyed my marriage, she whispered. You destroyed him. Megan laughed bitterly. You destroyed it yourself by believing me. That laugh, that was the moment everyone saw her for who she really was. Laura stood slowly. Her voice was calm, terrifyingly calm. Get out, she said. Megan froze. What? Get out of my life, Laura said. You are no longer my sister. Her mother tried to speak, but Laura raised her hand. No, she said. You protected her lies. You helped destroy my marriage. Then Laura turned to me. Tears streamed down her face. You were innocent, she whispered, and I abandoned you. Megan was escorted out by security after causing a scene. Ryan refused to see her. Her parents cut financial support. The lies she built her future on collapsed in one afternoon. But victory didn't feel good, because I had already lost something precious, trust. Later that night, Laura and I sat alone in my empty house. The same couch, the same walls. Different people, I should have trusted you, she said. I let fear decide. I nodded. I understand why you believed her, I said honestly. But understanding doesn't erase pain. She reached for my hand. I didn't pull away. But I didn't hold it either. Laura looked at me with hope and terror. Is there any chance? She asked. I swallowed. I don't know. I answered truthfully. Love doesn't die in a day, but trust doesn't heal overnight. She nodded, tears falling. I'll wait, she said, as long as it takes. As she left that night, I stood alone again, but this time the truth stood with me. And in the silence, I realized something painful. Clearing my name was only the beginning. Forgiveness would be the real battle. The truth had finally come out, but it didn't bring peace. It brought silence. The house that once echoed with laughter now felt hollow. Every room reminded me of what had been broken, not by lies alone, but by the moment trust cracked and never fully returned. Laura didn't move back in. She called, she texted. She apologized. Every message ended the same way. I'm so sorry. I should have trusted you. But apologies don't rewind time. Megan's life unraveled fast. Ryan denied responsibility publicly, claiming he'd been manipulated. Her parents refused to house her after learning the truth. Even extended family distanced themselves. She tried to message me once. I never meant for it to go this far. I didn't reply. Some bridges burn for a reason. My lawyer pushed for charges, defamation, emotional distress. I agreed, not for revenge. Foreclosure. Megan avoided court twice before finally showing up, no longer playing the victim. No makeup, no tears, just bitterness. The judge didn't show mercy. Her lies were documented, her intent proven. She was ordered to pay damages and mandated therapy. When the gavel struck, I felt nothing. Justice doesn't always feel like victory. Laura began therapy. She admitted everything, her fear, her blind loyalty to family, her failure to protect her marriage. One afternoon, she asked if we could meet. I agreed. We sat across from each other at the same cafe where we'd had our first date. I don't expect forgiveness, she said. I just need to say this face to face. She looked smaller than I remembered. I chose the easier lie over the harder truth, she continued. And I lost the man I loved. I listened, I didn't interrupt. When she finished, I spoke quietly. I didn't just lose my wife, I said. I lost my dignity, my home, my faith in being believed. She nodded, tears falling. I know. Weeks passed, we spoke more, cautiously, carefully. We didn't argue, we didn't pretend. One evening, Laura asked the question she'd been avoiding. Is there still a us? I stared at my hands. I don't know, I said. Trust is like glass. Even if you glue it back together, the cracks stay. She accepted that answer. That alone meant something. I started therapy too. I learned something uncomfortable. Being innocent doesn't mean being unscarred. I carried anger, resentment, fear of being misunderstood again. The therapist asked once, "So do you want peace or justice?" I realized I'd chased justice so hard I'd forgotten peace. Months later, a letter arrived, handwritten. I almost threw it away. But curiosity won. I was jealous of your life. I wanted what Laura had. I didn't think about the damage. I only thought about myself. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know I see it now. I folded the letter and placed it in a drawer. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. It means releasing poison. On our anniversary, Laura showed up at my door. She wasn't dressed up, no grand gesture, just honesty. "I don't want to fix the past," she said. "I want to build something new, even if it takes years." I looked at her, really looked. The woman who failed me, and the woman who was trying to grow. I took a breath. "Then we start slow," I said. "Not as husband and wife, as two people who hurt and are willing to heal." Her smile was soft, grateful. "The lie destroyed everything. But sometimes, what survives the fire is something stronger. Healing doesn't arrive loudly. It doesn't knock on your door with flowers or promises. It slips in quietly, when you stop fighting the past and start choosing the future." Laura and I didn't rush. There were no overnight stays. No "I love you" whispered in the dark. Just coffee walks, conversations that were honest even when they hurt. Trust was no longer assumed. It was earned inch by inch. We started therapy together, not to fix what was broken, but to understand why it broke so easily. Laura learned to speak before fear took over. I learned to express pain without turning it into distance. Some sessions ended in silence, others in tears, but none in lies. That mattered. Friends asked quietly, "Are you back together?" We always gave the same answer: "We're rebuilding." Because love isn't about returning to what was. It's about choosing what could be. One afternoon, months later, Laura asked something unexpected. "Do you want to see Megan?" I thought about it. The girl who destroyed my marriage? The woman who weaponized lies. "I don't need answers," I said. "But I don't want hate anymore." So we met. Megan looked different. Smaller, tired, human. She didn't cry. She didn't justify. She just said, "I broke something beautiful because I was empty inside." I nodded. "I hope you never do that to someone again." That was it. Closure doesn't need drama. Forgiving Megan didn't mean trusting her. It meant freeing myself from carrying her darkness. And forgiving Laura, that was harder. But one night, as we sat on the floor of the empty house, our house, I realized something. She didn't leave because she stopped loving me. She left because fear spoke louder than love. Understanding didn't erase the pain, but it made forgiveness possible. A year after the accusation, we stood in front of the same house where she once packed her bags. Laura looked at me. "Do you want to try again?" she asked. Not because we were married, but because we choose each other now. I took her hand. "Only if we promise something," I said. "What?" "That we never walk away without listening." Tears filled her eyes. "I promise." We didn't remarry right away. We moved forward carefully, honestly. Love returned, not as fire, but as warmth. Steady, intentional, real. And one quiet evening, as we sat together watching the sunset, Laura whispered, "I almost lost everything because I believed a lie." I squeezed her hand, and I almost lost myself trying to prove the truth. We leaned into each other. Still scarred, still standing. Here's what this story taught me. Truth doesn't always win immediately. Innocence doesn't always protect you. And the people closest to you can hurt you the deepest. But also this: lies collapse eventually. Healing is possible. And forgiveness, when chosen wisely, can rebuild even the most shattered lives. Before you walk away from someone you love, listen. Before you believe an accusation, question. Because once trust is broken, even the truth takes time to be believed.